Hi everybody, I just completed book number 5 for this year. The Wind is Not a River by Brian Payton. Again, I did have the book jacket for this book when I originally purchased it, but we had a little bit of a run-in with some water damage. You can kind of see it there. And unfortunately, the book jacket did not make it. I purchased this from a thrift store probably last spring, so almost a year ago. It was on my TBR stack for a very long time, and I really didn't know anything about it. I have a tendency to do that. I just grab a book based off of what I think it's going to be about, and I just kind of dive in. This book was really good. I actually gave it a 5 out of 5. I've been very lucky with books this year, getting in an excellent review or an excellent number from me. I usually don't give 5 out of 5s, but I mean, if you look at the books I've talked about so far this year, that kind of makes me seem like a liar. But this book was amazing. So basically, it's about a reporter who is trying to write about World War II, specifically what was going on in the Aleutian Islands. And I had a vague understanding of what was going on in that area for World War II. I just don't think it's a topic that's really discussed or written about much in fiction. I've read, I have not written, I've read a lot of books specifically about Europe during World War II, France, England, Germany, Russia, so on and so forth. I've even read a couple of books that are about the South Pacific during World War II. I've never read anything about kind of the North Pacific or the Aleutian Islands or Alaska or what went on there. So that was kind of one of the first things that I really loved about this book, was it was about a topic or a part of World War II that I really didn't know about and that I feel like really wasn't explored all that often. It's just kind of a new territory, so to speak. So I enjoyed that. Another thing that I really loved about this book that I wasn't expecting, half the book is written from the reporter's wife's perspective. When I picked this book up, I thought it was going to be 100% from his perspective. Not to give anything away, but he basically gets stranded on one of the small islands on the Aleutian chain and has to survive not only the elements and starvation, but he's also in an area that is occupied by the Japanese at the time, so he's kind of in an extremely dangerous situation. So I thought the book was going to be 100% from his perspective, just talking about what he does to survive. And I got to the second chapter, and it's actually his wife's perspective, so I wasn't expecting that, but it was really interesting. She ends up joining the USO and joining a performing troupe just to try and get up to Alaska to try and find him, because basically he goes up there not as an enlisted member or a part of the military, but he steals his brother's identity and goes up there to try and report back and write about what's going on there, because a lot of the newspapers and things at the time were just not talking about that area, and he felt that it was important. So basically she couldn't get any info about where he was or what was going on. So she's like, okay, I'm going to join the USO and start singing and get my way up to Alaska. And I thought that was really cool. It was just different. I've never read anything kind of like that. I also, one of my favorite things about this book was the ending, in the way that it was not overly fictionalized and over dramatic. So many times I have read books about World War II or just books in general where they want to go for that fictionalized, over dramatic, kind of crazy way of ending things, where you're like, oh, you can kind of see it coming. Everything's going to wrap up beautifully and everybody's going to be happy and it's going to be, just wonderful, wonderful. This is not that. It has a very realistic ending to it, and not necessarily a happy ending. It does end kind of on an upturn, but it doesn't kind of delve into the kind of unrealistic territory of what a lot of war stories kind of get into. So I did enjoy that. So yeah, 5 out of 5, really, really good. Again, The Wind is Not a River, Brian Payton. I would definitely recommend this to someone who's into World War II fiction, or even not fiction, but World War II history itself, because it was really interesting. And again, it's about an area or part of the war that I don't think a lot of people really know about. So I thought that was kind of fun. Okay, so number 6 on deck, Greenwich Park by Catherine Faulkner. This has also been on my list of TBR for a very long time. I think I only picked this book up, I think it was a birthday gift back in November, So I'm excited for that. I think I know a couple other people who have read this and given it a pretty good review. So I'm excited for that book. If you have any suggestions on what I should add to my reading list, or if you've read The Wind is Not a River or Greenwich Park, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Again, that's what I'm going to be reading over this next week or so. So let me know how you're doing, what you think, and anything like that. Okay, bye guys. I will catch up with you next week.